everyone, it's Friday the 26th of June today. Before I even start, I just want to apologise that I'm so bleached out at the moment. I'm up in the woodland in the clearing, just my veg patch is just down there, and it's really bright today. It's quite grey and overcast. We've had a couple of good days of really hot weather, but then last night about midnight we had a thunderstorm, a really heavy downpour, and it's been grey ever since. But it's actually quite nice because you can come out here in a t-shirt but not be too hot to work. Anyway, I wanted to do this video because some of the bean videos that I've been doing recently, a lot of people have been mentioning that some of their beans have been nibbled off by snails and slugs, and also some of them just haven't thrived with this funny weather we've had. You know, we had really hot weather followed by a good few weeks of rain, then we've had wind, and I had really hoped this year that I was going to have an amazing harvest of beans. But actually, over the last week or so, I've been having a look round, and some of my bean supports are actually looking a little bit empty. On my patio I have a big pot of the Brecon black beans, and I noticed one of the bamboo canes had absolutely nothing growing on, and up here I've also got one lot of bamboo kind of sticks that I've put in that has nothing growing in that pot because I think I've miscalculated. I do have 10 lots of beans waiting to go in, and I was going to be putting them in there, but what I've realised is where my mange 2 was, I already planted some French beans along that because it was looking really sparse, and I've got the same variety of French beans growing in modules at the moment, so I think I'm actually going to put those there because there'll be one variety growing together, so I don't have to worry about, you know, cross-pollination. So with this in mind, I was thinking I'm going to have some empty canes, but then it actually occurred to me that we have a local garden centre, like a local plant nursery. Over the whole situation that we've had recently, they have been struggling. They shut down completely, and then they opened so that they could do collection only. And I had seen the other day on Facebook that they'd set out the nursery kind of completely outside. They had a system going on, so, you know, it was very little chances of, you know, being contaminated by anything when you were there. So I was thinking last night, somebody put on the local Facebook group that they'd been there and they had quite a lot of vegetable plug plants. So I thought, right, I am going to go down there and I am going to have a look around and see if they have any more bean plants, because if they do, I'm really happy to support a local business that are kind of independent plant nursery that, you know, are there serving our community. But I used them last year for some courgettes which were amazing, and I really want them to be there next year. So I thought I'm going to head down there, and I did. And do you know what, as soon as I got there, it was so like well laid out. Usually they've got kind of 3 or 4 polytunnels, they've got an indoor shed, and then they've got a bit you can walk around outside. But what they've done is kind of made like, there was obviously like an entrance that you walked round, you could look at all of the plants, and then you paid right at the end, and it worked really well. When I was there, I was picking up these veg plants, and a lady was asking me some questions, and I was like, I don't work here. And then she was like, oh, I'm really sorry. And I was like, I wish I did, because it was really nice there. But anyway, they only had 2 lots of bean plants left, okay, and I grabbed them. So I picked up some French beans here, which are called Blue Lake. Never grown Blue Lake before, and as you can see, these are so leggy. They're really yellow. They, like I said, they were open over the last 3 months, but I think, you know, a lot of their stock looked very leggy. They had so many tomato plants there as well, which was super leggy as well. But, you know, very happy with these. How many's in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, there's 9 in here and 1's died, so there would have been 10. And because they are so leggy, you can see that I think they're going to be past the slug stage. So I am going to be putting these into one of my pots that has got nothing growing in at the moment, and I'm hoping for an extra harvest. And then the next one they had was this one. which you can't even see me. This one here, which is a runner bean called White Emergo. Never heard of that one before, and to be honest, I did think it was 2 lots of French beans. But down at the allotment, I have a bamboo wigwam that I set up with 2 lots of French beans, Portuguese red, so I can actually grow these with them because they're not going to be cross-pollinating, because one's the French bean and one is the runner bean, so I don't have to worry about that at all. But also, look how tall these are. I think once I've untangled them, they are going to be quite far up the canes. So that is what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. These ones will be going down at the allotment, so I'm going to plant those later, and we're going to get these climbing French beans in now, and then the other ones, the other Belotti ones that I've got down on my patio, will be coming up, and we're going to put those in now. So the first beans that I'm going to be putting in are the French beans, the Blue Lake. So this is a 30-litre potato bucket, and I had originally bought these to grow potatoes in, but I ended up just putting all of the potatoes in the ground in the end. So these ones are all in here now. I'm going to give them a feed in a couple of days, and hopefully they'll perk up pretty quickly. So this here is where I've got my mange too, and as you can see, it's not doing very well at all. I was hoping that this entire wall would be completely covered by now, and it's not. So about a week ago, I planted 10 Belotti beans along the back here as well, and actually they're doing pretty well now. There's one all the way up here already. So at the time of putting these up, I also planted some more, so I'm going to be putting these along here now so that they can catch up, and I've just got the one variety growing on this arch. So there's another 10 beans put in there. It's really overcrowded down the bottom of those canes, but I just can't waste the space. The mange 2 is not doing very well at all, and if I manage to get another couple of kilograms, well, that would be amazing if I could just get 1 kilogram from these canes of Belotti beans. But I just can't waste that, you know. Beans store so easily, whether dried or in the freezer, that it's just one of those things that you have to grow as much as you can. Hi everyone, it's actually the next day now. I've just popped down the allotment to get these Emergo runner beans in, but I don't know if you can see from the corner there, it's chucking it down. So I don't want to ruin my camera or anything. So I'm going to head in there, and I will film, but I'm just going to get them straight in the ground, and then possibly I will catch up with you when I'm back home if it stops raining. So it's actually the next day again. At the moment, these videos are taking me about 3 days to film, but the main reason for this is we've just had really bad weather. I got absolutely drenched when I came here yesterday to put those runner beans out. I've just come back now and checked on them, and they are hanging on for dear life because that area is so windy. The 2 Portuguese red French beans are not looking well at all. They are clinging on to life, and I'm so hopeful that they're going to make it through because I can't wait to have some red podded beans. But I'm just here really to collect some fruit. So these are my black currants. I've managed to pick one kind of punnet of them already, but it started raining a minute ago, so I thought I'd come in and finish this video. I've also been going around collecting windfalls, because I find when I'm making jam at the moment and I'm just so busy with other stuff, with the black currants, they're not really high in pectin. So I've just chucked a couple of windfalls in when I'm cooking it up, and found that that's meant I can be quite quick in making the jam, and it sets really nicely. So I'm hopefully, because the sun's come back out, going to finish that off now, and then I'm going to get home because it's Sunday. This video needs to be up on my channel at 7 o'clock tonight, so I need to make sure I get home, finish editing it, and then it's ready for you to watch. Also, before I go, a really big thank you to everybody that watched my last video where I talked about some big changes for my channel and some things that were going on in the background. You left some really lovely comments. If you've not watched that video, I'll put a link in the cards above. I'll put a link in the description below. But there was one point that I made when I was talking about some of the investment I've made in my channel and the fact that I've got a new laptop. And I said that Lloyd had really kindly bought it for me, but I needed to pay him back. When he watched this video, when he watched that video, he said it didn't make him sound very supportive, because he'd actually bought that for me to help with my channel and stuff. But I just wanted to say, he didn't say I had to pay him back. I said I needed to pay him back because I'm very mindful. In the past, I've had a few comments on my channel where people have said that I'm a kept woman, or I just mess around in the garden, and you know, that's not the case. I do have a role within my family, and we as a team work really hard together. So I was just quite mindful that some people might think that, you know, I was just gifted it to play around with, and that's not the case at all. But I actually do feel that I do need to, you know, pay that money back to my family, because, you know, I need to have some worth, and my channel needs to pay for itself, you know, at the end of the day. I absolutely love making these videos, but having the money back from that, which helps me then do stuff on the garden and take you along with me, is really important as well. Also, I did mention that I had another YouTube channel called Erica's Little Welsh Life. Thank you so much to everybody that has already gone and subscribed to that channel. When we moved to Wales, we actually bought a house that needed complete renovation, and with my daughter being 2.5 at the moment, we're only just getting to a position now where we're able to start work on getting the house back to, you know, a really good standard of living, because it needs a lot of work doing to it. It also belonged to somebody that was actually quite famous in the area that I live, so it's going to be really nice to get that back together. But one thing I find, and I'm sorry, this is a long one now, one thing I find about having a YouTube channel with my garden, I absolutely love gardening, I'm so passionate about it, but by bringing you along on the journey really helps me kind of push forward and work harder on that so I can show you. So I'm feeling like if I actually work on this channel showing you my house as it's being renovated, that's going to push me a lot harder to want to get these projects done, because we are at a position now where there's so much work that needs to be done on the house that we kind of really, like, it's so hard knowing where to start. You know, you need this trade in, but before you have this trade in, you need that trade. But before we do any work, we need the windows doing, and then that's a massive job. So it's really kind of hard to actually just start pushing forward. We have done a bit of work, but we really need to start getting going. So if you are interested in being nosy and having a look at what state my house is in and seeing the journey as we go along, please do head over to that channel. I'm currently working on my first tour video. So at the moment, there's a couple of little videos on there that are just nothing, or not really worth watching. But do head over there and subscribe if you are interested. And I'm hoping that within the next 2 weeks, there will be a video over there. At the moment, I've got both my children at home. My son is going to be going back to school on 1 day a week before the summer holidays, and then my daughter's going to be going back to nursery in the mornings for a couple of weeks, and then she's going back full time, and I'm also going back to work as well. So so much is going on, but I really want to bring you along and have a look at what I'm doing in my house, because I just want to share it with you, but I also do really feel that you are going to help me actually push a project forward. But also I'm going to need a lot of advice, like what colour you think of this, and you know, everything. So please head over there, and anyway, I'm talking on, so I'm going to go now because it's not raining. I want to get some more of these picked so I can get some jam preserved for the winter. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye.